Admiral Kang Wu stood before the massive holographic display showing the galaxy map. Red dots marked the 17 star systems under Valerian Empire control. His dark eyes focused on a small blue dot at the edge of known space, Earth. "These humans are nothing," he said to the War Council gathered around the metal table. "Our scouts report they barely left their home planet 50 years ago. They use primitive rockets and simple computers." Dr. Lee Hanna, the Empire's top scientist, nodded as she studied the data on her tablet. Her long black hair fell over her shoulder as she leaned forward. "The intercepted transmissions confirm this, Admiral. They still use chemical fuel for space travel. Their weapons are basic explosives and metal projectiles. We stopped using such crude technology over 1,000 years ago." Commander Park Day shifted in his chair. Something bothered him about the reports, but he could not say what. "Sir, what about their expansion into nearby systems? They have established colonies on 12 worlds in the past decade." Kang Wu waved his hand dismissively. 12 primitive settlements with no real defenses. Our single battlecruiser could destroy them all in one day. He touched the hologram and Earth grew larger. "Look at this pathetic world. They fight wars among themselves using ground vehicles and flying machines. They have not even unified their own planet yet." Dr. Lee Hanna pulled up more data. "Our analysis shows they discovered faster than light travel only recently. The method appears to be some crude manipulation of space-time that barely works. Their ships take weeks to travel distances our vessels cover in days." The War Council members laughed. General Vexthul, a tall man with scars across his face, stood up. "Emperor Thexmore grows impatient with these humans. They ignore our messages and continue expanding. They must learn their place in the galaxy." Kang Wu smiled, coldly. "Then we will teach them. I propose we send them an ultimatum. Surrender all their colonies and submit to Empire rule or face complete destruction." "How long should we give them to respond?" asked Commander Park Day. 10 solar cycles should be enough time for even these primitive minds to understand," Kang Wu replied. "If they refuse, we will demonstrate the power of the Valerian Empire." Dr. Lee Hanna saved her data and closed her tablet. "Admiral, should I prepare a full analysis of their technology for our fleet commanders?" "No need," Kang Wu said with confidence. "What analysis do you need for stone tools and fire sticks? Our 7th Fleet alone has more firepower than their entire civilization." 3 days later, Captain Kim Jae sat in his small exploration ship near the outer edge of human space. His instruments detected something approaching, massive energy signatures unlike anything in human records. The young pilot had volunteered for this mission knowing the risks. "This is Captain Kim to Earth Command," he spoke into his communication device. "Unknown vessels approaching. They are big, really big. Energy readings are off the charts." The response came quickly from Admiral Ko Yoon back on Earth. "Maintain distance, Captain. Record everything you can." Kim Jae watched as 5 enormous ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Each vessel was easily 10 times larger than Earth's biggest battleship. They moved with perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with unknown metals that seemed to bend light around them. "Earth Command, I count 5 massive warships. They are scanning me, but my ship seems invisible to them. They passed right by like I am not here." Admiral Ko Yoon's voice remained calm. "Continue observations, Captain. Do not engage under any circumstances." On the lead Valerian ship, Commander Park Day studied his sensor readings with growing confusion. "Admiral, our scanners detect no human vessels in this sector." "Good," Kang Wu replied from his command chair. "They are probably hiding behind their moon or something equally pathetic." But Park Day was not satisfied. According to their intelligence, human ships should be patrolling this area. Where were they? His instruments were the most advanced in the galaxy, capable of detecting a single metal bolt floating in space, yet they showed nothing. Captain Kim Jae continued recording as the alien fleet moved toward Earth. His small ship followed at a safe distance, somehow remaining undetected despite being much closer than should be possible. "Earth Command, the alien ships are beautiful but scary. Their weapons look like they could destroy a planet. I count energy cannons, missile tubes, and something that makes space itself bend around it. Understood, Captain. Continue surveillance. On Earth, President Cha-Yul met with the Defense Council in an underground facility. The room was simple, with basic computers and paper maps spread across tables. General Park Min pointed to the approaching alien fleet on the main screen. They will be here in 6 hours, he said quietly. Our deep space sensors confirm 5 heavy cruisers, each carrying enough firepower to glass a continent. Admiral Ko Yoon studied the data. Their technology appears standard for a level 7 civilization. Plasma weapons, quantum shields, exotic matter hulls. Impressive but predictable. President Cha-Yul nodded slowly. Any word on their intentions? Yes, sir, replied Director Han Sol, holding a decoded message. They demand our complete surrender. All human colonies must be abandoned, and Earth must submit to something called the Valerian Empire. The room fell silent. Finally, General Park Min spoke. Orders, sir. President Cha-Yul looked around the room at the faces of Earth's leaders. They appeared calm despite facing the most powerful alien fleet in known space. We follow Protocol 7. Let them make the first move. Back in space, Captain Kim Jae watched the alien fleet enter Earth's solar system. The 5 massive ships moved in perfect formation toward the blue planet, their weapons powered up, energy readings spiking across all sensors. Earth Command, they are charging weapons. Looks like they mean business. Maintain position, Captain. Help is coming. Kim. Jay looked at his scanner display and saw something impossible. 3 small blips appeared on his screen, human ships approaching the alien fleet. But these vessels were tiny compared to the massive alien warships. Earth Command, I see our ships moving to intercept. But Admiral, they look so small against those monsters. Admiral Ko Yoon's voice carried a note of something that might have been amusement. Size is not everything, Captain. Sometimes the smallest things can surprise you. As the human and alien fleets moved toward each other, neither side fully understood what was about to happen. The Valerian Empire believed they faced primitive humans with crude technology. The humans knew they faced a powerful alien civilization that had ruled the galaxy for centuries. But both sides were wrong about what they were really facing. Ambassador Choi Min sat in the pilot seat of the diplomatic vessel approaching the designated meeting point. The ship was small and simple, with basic metal plating and conventional engines. Behind her, 3 other human ships followed in loose formation. Ambassador, we are receiving a transmission from the alien fleet, reported Lieutenant Yoon Tae from the communications station. They want us to dock with their flagship. Choi Min nodded calmly. Acknowledge their message. Tell them, we accept their invitation. She had volunteered for this mission, knowing it might be humanity's last chance for peace. The Valerian flagship was magnificent and terrifying. The massive vessel stretched for over 2 kilometers, its hull made from materials that seemed to absorb and reflect light in impossible ways. Weapon ports lined its sides like the eyes of some giant predator. Inside the alien ship, General Vexthal waited in a grand conference room. The walls displayed images of conquered worlds and defeated enemies. When the human delegation entered, he did not bother to stand. So these are the famous humans, Vexthal said with obvious contempt. You look even more primitive than our report suggested. Ambassador Choi Min remained polite despite the insult. General, we come seeking peaceful relations between our peoples. Surely there is room in the galaxy for both humans and Valerians. Vexthal laughed harshly. Peace? You misunderstand your situation. This is not a negotiation. This is your surrender ceremony. He activated a holographic display showing the Valerian Empire's territory. We control 17 star systems and over 40 billion subjects. You control a handful of backward colonies. Our colonies are small but growing, Choi Min replied, carefully. We have no desire for conflict with your empire. What you desire is irrelevant, Vexthul snapped. Emperor Thexmore has decided that humans will serve the empire as laborers. You will abandon all your colonies and relocate to designated worlds where you can be properly supervised. Lieutenant Yoon Tae stepped forward, his hand moving toward his sidearm. Choi Min gave him a sharp look and he stopped. "General," she said, "surely we can find a compromise that benefits both sides." Vexthul stood up, his tall frame towering over the human delegation. "There is no compromise with inferior species. You will submit or be destroyed. Those are your only choices." "And if we refuse?" asked Choi Min quietly. "Then you will see the true power of the Valerian Empire." Vexthul touched a control on his wrist. Through the conference room's windows, the humans could see a large asteroid floating. Nearby, observe. The flagship's main weapon charged with a low humming sound. Energy gathered at the ship's forward cannon, crackling with purple light. The weapon fired, and the asteroid simply vanished in a flash of superheated plasma. "Impressive," said Choi Min without emotion. "Your technology is quite advanced." Vexthul smiled coldly. "That weapon could destroy your largest city in a single shot. We have 50 such vessels in our fleet. Your primitive ships cannot even scratch our shields." Lieutenant Yoon Tae had been quietly studying the alien technology since their arrival. Something about the energy signatures seemed familiar, though he could not place where he had seen them before. The power output was enormous, but the method of generation looked strangely inefficient. "General," said Choi Min, "perhaps we could demonstrate our own capabilities before making any final decisions." "Your capabilities?" Vexthul laughed again. "What could you possibly show us that would matter? Stone knives, fire sticks?" "Something like that," Choi Min replied calmly. She activated her own communication device. "Captain Song, please prepare for a demonstration." Outside the alien flagship, Captain Songhai received the message aboard her small human vessel. The ship looked like nothing special. Basic metal construction, simple engines, conventional weapon mounts. But appearances could be deceiving. "Engineer Bei, please activate the mining laser," Songhai ordered. Engineer Bei Dong worked at his console with practiced ease. "Mining laser coming online, Captain. Target?" Songhai looked at the massive alien cruiser floating nearby. "The escort. Vessel on the left. Just scratch the paint." "Understood, Captain." Inside the conference room, Vexthul continued his threats. "Your 10 solar cycles are almost up. Soon our fleet will reduce your pathetic colonies to radioactive dust." "General," interrupted Lieutenant Yoon Tae, "you might want to look outside." Through the window, they could see the small human ship turning toward one of the Valerian escort vessels. A simple beam of blue light emerged from what looked like a basic mining tool. The beam struck the alien ship's shields, and something impossible happened. The advanced quantum barriers that could withstand planet-killing weapons simply disappeared. The blue light continued through the hull like it was made of paper, cutting a precise line from bow to stern. Alarms screamed throughout the Valerian ship. The damaged escort vessel began spinning out of control, atmosphere venting from the clean cut through its armored hull. Emergency systems struggled to contain the damage. Vexthul stared in shock. "Impossible! Our shields can stop any known weapon." "Apparently not all weapons," said Choi Min mildly. "That was just our mining laser. We use it to cut through asteroids." "Lieutenant," Yoon Tae was studying his portable scanner, and his eyes went wide with realization. "Ambassador, I need to speak with you privately." Vexthul was screaming orders into his communication device. "How did they penetrate our shields? What kind of weapon was that?" "As I said, just a mining tool," Choi Min replied. "We have many such tools." The damaged Valerian ship finally stabilized, but its hull showed a perfect cut that went completely through the vessel. Only quick work by the crew had prevented total destruction. Vexthul turned back to the human delegation, his face pale with shock and rage. "This meeting is over. You will surrender immediately or face the full might of our fleet." "I think not," said Choi Min as she stood up. "You came here demanding our surrender based on your superior technology. But your technology is not as superior as you believed. One lucky shot means nothing." Vexthul snarled. "Our fleet will crush you." Lieutenant Yoon Tae finished his scan and leaned close to the ambassador. "Ma'am, I know why their shields failed. These energy pattern. I have seen them before in our history files." Choi Min nodded slightly. "Thank you, Lieutenant. I was wondering about that myself. As the human delegation prepared to leave, Vexthul made one final threat. You have one more day to surrender. After that, we will show no mercy. General, said Choi Min as she reached the door, I suggest you contact your emperor before making any irreversible decisions. Some sleeping giants should not be awakened. Back aboard their ship, Lieutenant Yoon Tae showed his scanner readings to the ambassador. Ma'am, their technology is definitely familiar. The energy signatures match records from the old archives, but that should be impossible. Why impossible, Lieutenant? Because these patterns are from human technology. Very old human technology. From before the Great Isolation. But that was over 50,000 years ago. Choi Min looked out at the massive alien fleet surrounding them. Perhaps not as long ago as we thought. As the human ships departed, Vexthul watched them go with growing anger and confusion. How had primitive humans penetrated their best shields? What kind of mining laser could cut through quantum barriers like they were made of air? Admiral Kang Woo's voice crackled over the communication system. General, what happened down there? We detected weapons fire. The humans refused our generous offer, Vexthul replied, and they have some kind of unknown technology. I recommend we proceed with the invasion immediately. Unknown technology? From primitives who barely discovered space travel? Admiral, I saw it with my own eyes. Their simple mining laser cut through our shields like they were not there. There was a long pause before Kang Woo responded. Prepare the fleet for battle, General. It is time to show these humans what real power looks like. The Valerian 7th Fleet moved through space like hungry predators approaching their prey. 50 massive warships arranged in perfect battle formation, their weapons charged and ready. Admiral Kang Woo stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching Earth grow larger on the main screen. Admiral, we are detecting human defense platforms throughout the system, reported his tactical officer. They appear to be simple satellites with basic energy weapons. Kang Woo smiled coldly. How many of these pathetic satellites? Approximately 300, sir. Also detecting 24 human ships on patrol routes around their colonies. 24 ships? Kang Woo laughed. We have 50 capital ships, each one more powerful than their entire fleet. This will be over quickly. Colonel Lim Jun commanded the Earth defense grid from a simple space station orbiting the planet. The facility looked basic compared to the approaching alien fleet, with basic metal construction and conventional computers, but looks could be deceiving. Colonel, the alien fleet is entering weapons range, reported his communications officer. All defense platforms are ready. Lim Jun studied the tactical display showing the massive alien formation. Each enemy ship was enormous, bristling with advanced weapons and protected by energy shields that could withstand tremendous punishment. Activate Protocol 7. All units maintain defensive positions. Sir, should we transmit a surrender offer? Those ships could destroy the entire planet. No surrender, Lim Jun replied calmly. Let them make the first move. Aboard the Valerian flagship, Admiral Kang Woo reviewed the tactical situation with growing confidence. His scanners showed human technology that was centuries behind Valerian. Standards, chemical rockets, simple computers, basic energy weapons, exactly what they expected from a primitive civilization. Admiral, we are receiving a transmission from the human commander, his communications officer reported. Put it through, Kang Woo ordered. Colonel Lim Jun's face appeared on the main screen. Admiral, I am Colonel Lim Jun of the Earth Defense Force. You are entering human space without permission. Please state your intentions. My intentions are simple, Kang Woo replied. Your species will surrender immediately and submit to Valerian rule. Resist and we will destroy every human world. I see, Lim Jun said without emotion. In that case, I must ask you to leave human space immediately. The Valerian bridge crew burst into laughter. You ask us to leave? Kang Woo said in amazement. Colonel, do you see our fleet? We have enough firepower to crack your planet like an egg. Yes, I can see your ships, Lim Jun replied. Very impressive. But my answer remains the same. Leave now, or face the consequences. Kang Woo's expression turned deadly serious. Then you have chosen death. All ships open fire. The Valyrian fleet unleashed its weapons in a coordinated barrage. Plasma cannons, quantum torpedoes, and exotic particle beams filled space with deadly energy. The firepower was enough to sterilize several worlds. The human defense satellites responded with their own weapons, simple energy beams that looked almost primitive compared to the alien assault. The human patrol ships also opened fire, their conventional weapons seeming hopelessly outmatched. For the first few minutes, the battle proceeded exactly as Admiral Kang Wu expected. Human ships took heavy damage from Valyrian weapons, while their own attacks seemed to have little effect on the alien vessel's advanced shields. "Sir, the humans are retreating," reported his tactical officer. "Their satellites are taking heavy losses." "Good," Kang Wu said with satisfaction. "Press the attack. Show them the price of defying the Empire." But then something strange began to happen. The remaining human weapons started hitting their targets more accurately, as if they were learning from each failed shot. Pilot Shin Nari, flying her simple fighter craft, somehow began anticipating enemy movements with impossible precision. "Admiral, something is wrong," his tactical officer said with growing concern. "The human weapons are adapting. Their hit rates are increasing rapidly." Dr. Moon Key watched the battle from her research station near Earth. Her instruments detected energy patterns that should not exist in human technology. The simple weapons were becoming more complex in real time, their basic energy output somehow increasing beyond design specifications. "This is fascinating," she said to her assistant. "The human weapons are not just adapting, they are evolving." Back in the battle, Captain Nam So received an urgent message on his ship's communication system. "Captain, you are authorized to activate emergency protocols." Nam So looked at the special control panel that had been installed on all human ships. He had hoped never to use it. "Emergency protocols confirmed. Activating now." Across the human fleet, dozens of ships began to change. What had appeared to be simple metal hulls started reconfiguring themselves at the molecular level. Basic energy weapons suddenly became something far more dangerous. Admiral Kang Wu watched in growing horror as the primitive human fleet transformed before his eyes. Ships that his sensors had identified as crude chemical rockets now showed energy signatures that made no sense. "Admiral, the human ships are changing," his science officer reported in a shaking voice. "Their hulls are shifting into new configurations. Energy output is increasing by orders of magnitude." "That is impossible," Kang Wu shouted. "No technology can reconfigure itself that quickly." But impossible or not, it was happening. The human ships that had been retreating suddenly turned and began a coordinated counterattack. Their new weapons cut through Valyrian shields like they were made of paper. Pilot Shinari's fighter, now looking nothing like the simple craft she had started with, danced through the enemy formation with impossible grace. Her weapons found weak points in alien ships that should not have existed. "All ships, fall back to defensive positions," Kang Wu ordered as his fleet began taking serious casualties. "How are they doing this?" Dr. Moon Kai continued her analysis from the research station. The battle data showed that human technology was not actually primitive. It was deliberately simplified and modular. When activated, the basic systems could rapidly evolve into something far more sophisticated. Captain Nam So's ship had transformed into something that defied easy description. His hull now seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. His weapons fired energy that bent space itself, and his engines moved the ship in ways that violated known physics. "Captain, enemy flagship is targeting us," reported his weapons officer. "Let them try." Nam So replied calmly. "Activate quantum defensive matrix." The Valyrian flagship's main weapon, powerful enough to destroy a moon, fired directly at Nam So's ship. The beam struck some kind of energy barrier and simply scattered into harmless light. Admiral Kang Wu stared at his tactical display in disbelief. His most powerful weapon had been stopped by technology that should not exist. "All ships concentrate fire on that vessel." 10 Valyrian cruisers focused their weapons on Captain Nam So's transformed ship. Enough firepower to crack a planet struck the human vessel. When the energy cleared, the ship was completely undamaged. Admiral, we are taking heavy casualties, his tactical officer reported. We have lost 12 ships and counting. How? Kang Wu demanded. These humans were using Stone Age technology just minutes ago. Colonel Lim Jun's face appeared on the Valerian communication screen again. Admiral, this is your final warning. Withdraw your fleet immediately or face complete destruction. You are bluffing, Kang Wu snarled. No primitive species could defeat the Valerian Empire. Primitive? Lim Jun seemed amused. Admiral, I think you have made a serious error in judgment. The human fleet, now fully transformed into something that looked more like living energy than metal ships, began advancing on the remaining Valerian vessels. Their weapons fired continuously, each shot precisely targeted to disable rather than destroy. Admiral, we must retreat, his tactical officer pleaded. We have lost over a quarter of our ships. Kang Wu watched his mighty fleet being systematically dismantled by forces he could not understand. The humans were not trying to destroy his ships. They were surgically disabling them, showing a level of precision that suggested complete mastery. Over the battlefield. All remaining ships fall back to minimum safe distance, he finally ordered. We will regroup and request reinforcements. As the battered Valerian fleet limped away from Earth, Admiral Kang Wu sent an urgent message to Emperor Thexmore. Sire, we have encountered unexpected resistance. The humans possess technology far beyond our initial estimates. Request immediate reinforcement with additional fleets. Colonel Lim Jun watched the alien ships retreat on his tactical display. The human fleet had already begun reverting to their original simple configurations, looking once again like primitive vessels with basic weapons. Should we pursue, sir? Asked his weapons officer. No, Lim Jun replied. Let them go. They will be back with more ships, and when they return, perhaps they will be ready to listen to reason. Dr. Moon Key saved her battle analysis data and shook, her head in amazement. The humans had revealed just enough of their true capabilities to win the battle, but had carefully concealed the full extent of their technology. These were not primitive humans at all. They were something far more sophisticated, playing a very dangerous game. Emperor Thexmore paced in his throne room, his fury building with each step. The massive chamber was decorated with trophies from conquered worlds, reminders of Valerian power. But Admiral Kang Wu's defeat had shaken him badly. 3 fleets, he said to Supreme Admiral Korvash, his most trusted commander. Deploy 3 full fleets to crush these upstart humans once and for all. Korvash bowed deeply. It will be done, my emperor, but perhaps we should study the battle data more carefully before attacking again. Study what? Thexmore snapped. Primitive humans with mining tools? No. We will overwhelm them with sheer numbers. Take the 2nd, 5th, and 9th fleets. Show the galaxy what happens to those who defy the Empire. In her laboratory, Dr. Li Hana worked through the night analyzing every piece of data from the battle. Her research assistant, technician Robin, helped compile the evidence that made less sense with each passing hour. Doctor, look at these energy readings, Robin said, pointing to his computer screen. The human weapons show quantum manipulation at macro scales, but that technology was abandoned thousands of years ago. Li Hana studied the data with growing unease. Not abandoned, Ro. Forbidden. Our ancestors called it too dangerous to use safely. But if humans can control quantum mechanics at this level, then their technology is not primitive at all. It is incredibly advanced. Li Hana nodded slowly. Which raises a troubling question. If they possess such advanced technology, why do they live in simple colonies with basic infrastructure? Why do they pretend to be primitive? Meanwhile on Earth, Director Han Sol met with President Cha Yul in the underground command center. The room remained deliberately simple, with basic computers and paper charts scattered across metal tables. The aliens are sending more ships, Han Sol reported. Our deep space sensors detect 3 full fleets approaching, over 150 vessels. President Cha Yul looked tired. Admiral Ko, what is your assessment? Admiral Ko Yoon studied the tactical projections. Manageable, but they are learning from their mistakes. These new ships have modified shields and weapons specifically designed to counter what they saw in the last battle. General Park Min leaned forward. Sir, should we continue the masquerade, or is it time to show them what they are really facing? The masquerade has served us well for 50,000 years, President Cha Yul replied thoughtfully. But these aliens are not going to stop until they understand the truth. Director Han Sol activated a secure communication link. Captain Jung-won, what is your status? Deep in space, Captain Jung-won commanded the reconnaissance vessel that tracked alien movements. Her ship looked like a simple scout craft, but it moved through space in ways that defied conventional physics. 3 enemy fleets confirmed approaching Earth, she reported. Estimated arrival in 6 hours. They have modified their technology based on battle analysis. This Supreme Admiral Korvash appears smarter than the last commander. Understood. Captain, send them our standard final warning. Jung-won's ship approached the massive alien armada, 3 complete fleets arranged in battle formation, their hulls gleaming with advanced armor and exotic weapons. She transmitted a simple message. This is Captain Jung-won of Earth Defense. You are entering human space. Turn back now. This is your final warning. Supreme Admiral Korvash received the message aboard his flagship. Unlike Admiral Kang-woo, he did not laugh or dismiss the warning. He had studied the battle reports carefully and knew these humans were far more dangerous than they appeared. Admiral, it is just one small ship, his tactical officer reported. Shall we destroy it? No, Korvash replied. Let it go. I want to see what other surprises these humans have prepared. On Earth, Dr. Seodam finished her analysis of captured Valyrian technology in her xenobiology laboratory. What she discovered made her hands shake as she reached for the communication device. President Cha Yul, I need to speak with you immediately. I have made a discovery about the aliens that changes everything. Within an hour, the Earth leadership gathered to hear Dr. Seodam's report. She activated her holographic display showing genetic and technological analysis data. The Valyrian Empire is not an alien species, she said quietly. They are human. The room fell silent. Finally, President Cha Yul spoke. Explain. Their genetic structure is definitely human, but modified by 50,000 years of separate evolution. Their technology shows clear development from early Terran Confederation designs. These are our own descendants, the survivors from the colony ships we sent out during the Great Exodus. General Park Min stared at the data. You are saying we are about to fight our own children? Our very distant children who have forgotten where they came from, Dr. Seodam confirmed. The Valyrian Empire was founded by humans who fled Earth during the civil wars of the old Confederation. They have developed their own culture and technology, but the foundation is definitely Terran. Director Han Sol looked grim. Do they know? No. Evidence of that. Their historical records apparently do not go back far enough. They believe they evolved independently on their home world. Admiral Ko Yoon studied the genetic charts. This explains why their technology seems familiar but inefficient. They are using corrupted versions of our old designs. It also explains why our quantum weapons penetrate their shield so easily, added Dr. Seodam. Their defenses are based on the same principles as our weapons. We know all their weak points because we invented their technology originally. President Cha Yul stood up and walked to the window showing Earth's blue sky. 50,000 years ago, we sent colony ships to the stars to preserve humanity. After the civil wars nearly destroyed our civilization, we thought they were all lost. Some survived, Dr. Seodam said. They built their own empire and forgot their origins, and now they have returned to challenge their parent species. Sir, General Park Min asked quietly, what are your orders? Before President Cha Yul could answer, alarms began sounding throughout the command center. Admiral Ko Yoon rushed to her tactical station. The alien fleets have arrived and are demanding our surrender, she reported. Supreme Admiral Korvash is asking to speak with our leader. President Cha Yul returned to his chair. Put him through. The main screen activated, showing a tall man in elaborate military uniform. Supreme Admiral Korvash had intelligent eyes and bore himself with the confidence of someone accustomed to victory. I am President Cha-Yul of the Terran Confederation, the human leader said calmly. Korvash paused. Something about that name seemed familiar, though he could not place where he had heard it before. Terran Confederation? Our records show no such government in this region. Your records are incomplete, Admiral. We have been here much longer than you realize. Regardless of your history, you will surrender immediately or face the combined might of 3 Imperial fleets, Korvash declared. We have over 150 ships armed with the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. Admiral, President, Cha-Yul said gently, I strongly advise you to consult your oldest historical archives before proceeding with this attack. My historical archives? Korvash looked puzzled. Why would ancient history matter in this situation? Because some history is not as ancient as you might think. Dr. Lee Hanna, monitoring the conversation from her ship, felt a chill run down her spine. That name, Terran Confederation, triggered something in her memory. She rushed to her computer and began searching through the oldest files in the Imperial database. What she found made her blood run cold. References to the lost Terran Confederation appeared in documents so old they were almost forgotten. The legendary civilization that had supposedly vanished from the galaxy eons ago. Supreme Admiral, she called over the communication system. Sir, you need to see this data immediately. But Korvash was focused on the human president. I care nothing for ancient myths. You have 1 hour to surrender or we will demonstrate the true power of the Valerian Empire. President Cha-Yul sighed, sadly. Very well, Admiral, but remember, you were warned. Supreme Admiral Korvash stood on the bridge of his flagship, surrounded by the greatest armada the Valerian Empire had ever assembled. 3 complete fleets, 150 of the most powerful warships in known space, arranged in perfect battle formation around the small blue world called Earth. Admiral, the human deadline has passed, his tactical officer reported. Shall we begin the bombardment? Open fire, Korvash commanded. Show these primitives the price of defying the Empire. The combined firepower of 3 Imperial fleets erupted across space. Enough energy to sterilize a dozen worlds focused on Earth's defense grid. The display was magnificent and terrifying, a demonstration of power that should have ended any resistance instantly. But Captain Li Bo, commanding the human response from her simple space station, remained completely calm. All defensive units, you are cleared to engage. Authorization 77 Alpha. Ma'am, should we activate full protocols? Asked her weapons officer. Full protocols authorized, Li Bo replied quietly. It is time they learned the truth. What happened next would be remembered as the moment the galaxy changed forever. Earth's defense grid, which had appeared to be simple satellites with basic weapons, suddenly revealed their true nature. The satellites began connecting to each other with streams of pure energy, forming a network that covered the entire solar system. Commander Osu activated the quantum manipulation array from his control station on Luna. Grid is online, Captain. Space-time in the local area is now under our direct control. The Valerian weapons, powerful enough to crack planets, struck the energy network and simply vanished, not absorbed or deflected. They ceased to exist the moment they touched the human defenses. Impossible, Korvash shouted. No defense can simply eliminate energy at that scale. But impossibility was becoming routine. The human fleet, which had numbered only 30 vessels, suddenly multiplied. Each ship split into dozens of identical copies, all equally real and dangerous. Pilot Jiang Mi, flying what the aliens had assumed was a primitive fighter craft, demonstrated that human ships were not actually ships at all. Her vessel existed, in multiple locations simultaneously, attacking from several directions at once while remaining a single craft. Admiral, we are under attack by forces that should not exist. His science officer reported in panic. Their weapons are manipulating space-time directly. Our shields are useless. The human counterattack was unlike anything ever seen in galactic warfare. Weapons that fired pure probability, turning enemy attacks into harmless light shows. Ships that existed in quantum superposition, making them impossible to target. Energy beams that rewrote the fundamental laws of physics in localized areas. Dr. Lee Hanna, monitoring from the Imperial flagship, finally accessed the oldest archives in their database. What she found made her scream in terror and recognition. "Supreme, Admiral, you must listen to me," she called over the communication system. "I have found the historical records. These are not primitive humans." "What are you talking about?" Corvash demanded as another squadron of his ships was casually disabled by impossible human technology. "They are the Terran Confederation. The original Terran Confederation that our ancestors fled from 50,000 years ago." The bridge fell silent except for the sounds of battle. Every Valyrian knew the ancient legends of the Terrans, the godlike beings who had ruled the galaxy before mysteriously vanishing into myth. "That is impossible," Corvash whispered. "The Terrans disappeared. They abandoned the galaxy eons ago." "They did not disappear." Lihana transmitted the ancient records to his screen. "They withdrew to their home system and have been quietly watching the galaxy ever since. We are not fighting primitive humans. We are fighting our own creators." As if to prove her point, the human fleet stopped its attack. The Valyrian armada hung helplessly in space, every ship disabled but undamaged. They had been systematically neutralized without a single vessel being destroyed. President Chayul's face appeared on every Valyrian ship's communication screen. "Supreme Admiral Corvash, I believe it is time we had an honest conversation. You are the legendary Terrans?" Corvash asked in a shaking voice. "We are what the Terran Confederation became after 50,000 years of quiet development," President Chayul replied. "Your ancestors were among the colonists we sent out during the civil wars. We hoped they would find new homes and prosper." Dr. Lihana accessed more ancient files, her face growing pale as the truth became clear. "Admiral, the genetic records confirm it. We are their descendants. The Valyrian Empire was founded by humans who fled the Terran civil wars." "But why?" Corvash asked. "Why did you let us build our empire? Why did you not reveal yourselves?" President Chayul smiled sadly. "Because you needed to grow up. Every parent must eventually let their children make their own way in the galaxy. We watched with pride as your empire expanded and prospered. Then why are you stopping us now?" "Because you were about to make a mistake that would have destroyed you," President Chayul explained. "Attacking Earth would have forced us to defend ourselves fully. The resulting battle would have eliminated your entire species." Commander Osu's tactical display showed the true extent of human capabilities. Hidden throughout the galaxy were thousands of automated defense systems, quantum manipulation arrays, and probability-altering weapons. If fully activated, they could reshape reality across multiple star systems. "We have been the galaxy's quiet guardians for 50 millennia, President Chayul continued. "We prevented wars that would have destroyed civilizations, guided species away from extinction, and carefully maintained the balance of power. Your empire exists because we allowed it to exist." Corvash looked around his bridge at his crews, shocked faces. What do you want from us?" "The same thing we have always wanted," President Chayul replied. "For humanity in all its forms to prosper and grow. The Valyrian Empire has done well, but you have become aggressive and territorial. This must change." At that moment, a new voice joined the conversation. Emperor Thexmore himself appeared on the communication screen, speaking from his throne, room far away. "President Chayul of the Terran Confederation," the Emperor said formally. "I have consulted our oldest archives and confirmed the truth. We are indeed your descendants, and we offer our formal apologies for this unprovoked attack." "Your apology is accepted, Emperor," President Chayul replied graciously. "Our legends speak of the Terran Protectorate," Thexmore continued. "An ancient agreement where the Confederation would protect the younger species of the galaxy. Are you offering to renew this arrangement?" President Chayul looked around the command center at his advisors. Admiral Ko-un nodded slowly. Director Han Sol gave his approval. General Park Min simply smiled. "The Terran Confederation accepts the role of protector once again," President Chayul announced. "But the galaxy has grown beyond what it was 50,000 years ago. We will need partners, not subjects. The Valyrian Empire would be honored to serve as your partners in this endeavor," Emperor Thexmore said with genuine respect. Supreme Admiral Korvash looked out at his disabled fleet, then at the impossible human defenses surrounding Earth. "Admiral," he said to his communications officer, "send a message to all Imperial forces throughout the galaxy. New standing orders. The Terran Confederation is to be treated with the highest respect and cooperation. Any aggression toward human space is strictly forbidden." "Sir, what should I tell them about today's battle?" Korvash thought for a long moment, then smiled. "Tell them the truth. Tell them we did not challenge Earth. We accidentally declared war on our own creators and learned that some sleeping giants should never be awakened. As the Valerian fleets began their journey home, their ships now escorted by polite but watchful human vessels, Dr. Lee Hanna compiled her final report on the encounter. "The humans were never primitive," she wrote. "They were advanced beyond our understanding, choosing to live simply while possessing technology that could reshape reality itself. They had been watching over the galaxy for 50,000 years, protecting us from threats we never even knew existed." Captain Lee Bo watched the alien fleet depart on her tactical display. The defense grid gradually powered down, returning to its disguise as simple satellites and patrol ships. "Captain, should we maintain the masquerade?" her weapons officer asked. "Not anymore," Lee Bo replied. "The galaxy knows who we are now. Perhaps it is time we stopped hiding." High above Earth, President Cha Yul stood in his office looking up at the stars. After 50 millennia of quiet guardianship, humanity had returned to its role as the galaxy's protector. But this time, they would not be alone. The Valerian Empire, once humanity's greatest threat, had become their first partner in building a new age of galactic peace. And somewhere in the distant stars, other young civilizations were taking their first steps into space, unaware that ancient guardians watched over them with patience and love. The galaxy had many children, but Earth remained their eternal home,